Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So today we're going to go through the 5 financial building blocks that you need for a brand new business. And this could be for an online business. It could be for a brick and mortar. It could be for a service-based business or a product-based business. These are fundamental building blocks that could apply to anyone in any industry and any type of business. Before we get started with the 5, one of the underlying things among all of this is acknowledging that if you are a side hustler, a brand new entrepreneur, an aspiring entrepreneur, or just someone who runs a small side business, makes a little extra money on the side, here and there, and you're thinking of turning this into a real thing, understand that as soon as you make money providing a service or a product, you're in business. And in fact, you don't even have to make money yet. You're to be in business. You are in business the moment that you decide you want to be. If you wake up one day and say, I want to start an Etsy store, I want to go online and sell coaching, I want to start offering this, you don't need a fancy website. You don't need a logo. You don't need a business entity. You don't need any of that. You are in business the moment you decide you want to be. So if you're ever giving an excuse of, I'm not really a legit business yet, or this income doesn't really count because it's not a real source of income, it's not my primary source, what you're doing is making excuses for not taking your business as seriously as you should be. That's the truth of it. You should be taking your business seriously and treating it with respect. Now, once you decide you want to start a business, which is a responsibility, you have a certain amount of responsibility to create a structure, to create habits, and to really nurture this business. So here are the 5 things you need in order to do that. Number 1, you need to have a business entity or decide that you're going to operate as a sole proprietor. And along with that comes foundational things like having a separate bank account for the business. And it could be a business bank account. It could also be a separate personal bank account if you're operating as a sole prop. But what you'd want to do is get an employer identification number called an EIN with the IRS, which is kind of like a social security number for your business. With that, you can open up a business checking account. And that is the best way to manage your business finances and to house them and make sure that they're going in and out of that account only. You do not want to commingle business and personal. And yes, I understand. If you're brand new, you will be spending some of your personal money in order to get your feet off the ground, in order to get things started up and to build momentum. What you want to do is keep track of that. Keep good track of that, of what you're spending personally, but understand that there's kind of a temporary zone where that happens. You account for it and you move on. Don't make that a habit. 1, 3, 5, 10 years down the line, you do not want to be commingling your business and personal. It's not good. Understand that having a separate business bank account and treating your business with the respect it deserves as a separate entity, or using it as a sole proprietorship and making that decision consciously is the first step. Number 2, you need a way of accepting payments from your customers. You need a way to get paid. Gone are the days where you could just say cash only. Especially if you're running an online business, right? It's really tough to be a cash only business. And it's really tough to accept only PayPal or Venmo or one of those types of tools. And there's a reason why. You want to give your customers the option to pay in a way that works for them. So if your customers are using the purchasing power of credit cards, and they love collecting points, and they want to be able to pay for, let's say, your high ticket offer, and they want to pay for that using a credit card, they should have the choice to do that. It wouldn't be fair necessarily if I'm your customer. If you're offering me a program that's, let's say, $3,000, and say, okay, Shannon, that'll be $3,000 for my coaching program, and we take cash, check, or Venmo, I would say, well, That's not really fair. I don't want to release $3,000 in cash today. I would much rather put that on credit card, pay it off later after I have cash flow, and control the timing of when I actually pay that money based on my business and my decision making and my strategy. By you forcing me to dump out that money now, that's going to get in your way of a sale. That's going to get in your way of me making a commitment because you're telling me the terms on which I'm being asked to pay it versus giving me that control. So, in the interest of customer service, it's worth the investment, in my opinion, to have a payment processor and to accept credit cards, because that 3% fee that you're paying or so is the investment in that customer service, the investment in that service offering that the payment processor provides you to accept the credit cards and to open up your power to sell more to more people by giving them that choice. So that is really a mindset shift that we've had to work with many entrepreneurs on around the payment processors. You need a way to get paid that is easy for the customer and intuitive. I have worked with many entrepreneurs who have sold me something and have told me, okay, now I need you to go to this website. I need you to pay me, or Shannon, I need you to initiate a PayPal to me for this much money. And honestly, I don't look forward to that. Like, why am I doing all the work? Why can't you just send me an invoice? Just send me an invoice so I can pay it. Make it easy, make it simple, make it so intuitive that you can do it on your sales call and say, I just sent you the link, go pay it. And have it look professional too. This is part of your, putting your best foot forward, your first impression. You want to have a legitimate system in place to collect that payment. Also, it's a little bit suspicious, I guess is the word, when you're only accepting Venmo, PayPal, things like that. I don't feel as safe personally sending high ticket money, even if I have the cash flow, via a product like Venmo or PayPal to another entrepreneur. I would much rather have it go through my credit card, go through a processor, have an invoice, have documentation that I paid this so I can take my deductions. So you're really trying to serve your customer by offering those options. So you definitely need a way to get paid, and a way to get paid that is legitimate, that is, professional, and that is easy to understand by your customer. Number 3, you need a system to do bookkeeping. And by bookkeeping, I mean tracking the income and expenses of your business, tracking the transactions and the bank charges, all of those things. You want to have a way to track all the data related to your business, because that data is going to drive decisions. That data is everything. That is the backbone of your business. You need a way to collect that is not highlighting your bank statements at the end of the year for your accountant. Bookkeeping is not, and I will repeat this, bookkeeping is not for tax purposes. Bookkeeping is not just so you can do your tax return. Bookkeeping is a tool for you to use as an entrepreneur so that you can follow the data, make tweaks, make decisions, adjust, and that you can pivot towards success. This is the data looking you in the eye and saying, this isn't working. This isn't working. Please change. Please shift. Please pivot. And the sooner you listen to that data, the sooner you can take those actions. But if you wait till the end of the year to collect all that data for the last 12 months, and you're doing that manually, it's going to take you so much time. It's going to be stressful. And don't look in the rearview mirror at last year. You should be looking forward and saying, hey, what obstacles are coming my way? If you have a flat tire, you want to know right now. You don't want to know after you've already swerved off the road. So those are your check engine lights, if you will. The bookkeeping can help you know what things are coming and where you may need to make adjustments. So have a system to track your bookkeeping. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a software platform. I mean, in 2021 with my clients, we definitely prefer using software platforms like QuickBooks Online as our most commonly used one. There's also QuickBooks Desktop, Xero, FreshBooks, Wave, plenty of options, tons of options out there on tracking your books. I recommend that you use one of those instead of a spreadsheet, because even though the spreadsheet seems simpler, it's actually way more work to do the bookkeeping, because then you have to manually compare it to your bank statements and do a lot of manual checking that is going to be grueling and monotonous, trust me. Or you're going to hand that off to your accountant and they will find it grueling and monotonous and you'll have to pay for it. So I encourage you, get a bookkeeping system that works for you and test out and test drive a few of them. Most of them offer free trials of some kind, and you will love one of them and gravitate towards them, I promise you, or your bookkeeper will. Number 4, you need a tax strategy. And no, I do not mean you need to hire someone to do your taxes. I don't. What I mean is that you need to understand what deductions and credits are available to you and how to take advantage of them. And no, you don't have to study taxes. You don't have to have a master's in taxation to do this. You should be hiring a tax professional, a tax strategist to help you, because it's well worth the investment, because that tax strategist can teach you one trick that will pay you back every single year in tax savings, on and on and on until the tax law changes, right? It's the gift that keeps on giving, tax strategy. You want to know what's expected of you as an entrepreneur, what you should be doing to comply with certain tax laws, and also how you can be saving money for the long term. You could be leaking out thousands of money if you have the wrong type of business entity, for example. And you could not be taking advantage of huge loopholes that are available to you as a business owner. What you may not know is that the tax law really incentivizes business owners and business growth. They want businesses to succeed. So when Congress wants to incentivize business owners to succeed, they create tax deductions, tax credits that will help business owners move forward. If you're not taking advantage of those, you're not doing what Congress wants you to do, which is to push your business forward and help the economy. So if you keep that in mind, those things are available to you and to be taken whenever they can be. So a tax strategy is paramount. You want to have somebody in your corner that's helping you with tax strategy, whether that's a CPA, a tax preparer who is available for tax planning. It's called tax planning, by the way, when you're planning in the middle of the year. You want to have a strategy that's proactive. And you don't want to just have someone who fills out the paperwork. You want someone to have these strategic discussions with. Okay. Number 5 is a money routine. And this looks different for so many entrepreneurs. But what you want to do is work money into your work life. You want to have money dates with your business. You want to have a review, a board meeting, whatever you'd like to call it, a CFO strategy session. You want to produce at least quarterly sets of financial statements, maybe monthly. But you want to have those check-ins with yourself, or weigh-ins, if you will, with your business, to see how well your implementation is going of certain strategies. Is it working? Is it not working? Do we need to pivot? Do we need to adjust? I talked about this in number 3 with bookkeeping. This is your check-in to say, based on the data that we have, what is it telling us? And what should we be doing to optimize our income, our profit, whatever our goals are? And how are we tracking towards those goals? Think of this like a weight loss journey or a health and fitness journey. You measure things like your weight, macros, measurements around your body. Think of this as that check-in, to check in on progress. And that is so important, because otherwise you're just going day to day. You're just managing based on your bank account balance. You're just kind of going with the flow of it. And next thing you know, small habits that you've been having over time, that you've been implementing, are actually deteriorating the financial health of your business. Maybe you're leaking money. Maybe there's a product that really isn't making much money that you need to be cutting from your offerings. And you don't really know that because you're not looking at the data. So having the data is one thing. Reviewing the data with intention is another. So you want to have a money routine where you're constantly looking at that data and knowing what decisions to make with it. And I'll add one extra bonus tip on the building blocks. So the 5 building blocks I gave you were having a business entity structure. 2 was having a way to get paid or take payments from customers. 3 was bookkeeping. 4 is tax strategy. 5 is a money routine. And I'll throw in one bonus, which is a pro to help you out on any of these items. If you don't want to go this alone, you don't have to. These are the things that you should have in place, but you need to make the commitment to establish these things, or seek out the help of a professional to help you do that. There are plenty of people that are well equipped to help you with any of these elements. And it's not always an accountant, CPA, or a one-stop shop. We pride ourselves at Financial Solutions for offering all of this across the board. But if you're looking for, let's say, tax strategy primarily, you can go to a tax strategist who focuses mainly on that. You could hire a bookkeeper at a relatively low cost as a new entrepreneur to help you collect that data so you're ready to elevate into CFO strategy calls and tax strategy and bring something to the table. So you can work to phase these things in. You don't have to have all of this on day one, but as you unfold each of these elements, you want to be thinking about your next step and how to grow each of these. So again, all of these are just the financial building blocks. These are things that you want to have in place and have a goal to build in your business and move towards. I would encourage you to take actions every day to move forward in trying to pursue each of these things and checking them off that you have them in your business. And that will help ensure your financial success. Do you want to explore more about the topics discussed in today's episode? Or maybe you have specific questions on how to apply what you learned. If so, check out the Keep What You Earn community. Join other listeners, entrepreneurs, and experts and get the support you need to get out of overwhelm and into action. Click on the link in the show notes to join now for free and start maximizing the value you get from each and every episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.